Top 5 favorite story games. The one rule is that campaigns such as Call of Duty will not be included. We will only be looking at games that only have or are focused on the story mode. Also bear in mind that this is my opinion and there are games that I did not play. So if you don't see a game here that you think is the reincarnation of perfection, just remember that I might have not played it. This should be obvious, but just in case, spoiler alert. With all that being said, let's go. Life is Strange takes place in the fictional town of Arcadia Bay, where you follow Max Caulfield, who originally lived in this town, but moved out due to her father landing a job in a different town. There, she moved back to Arcadia Bay to attend Blackwell Academy, a school that is focused on arts and photography. Max discovers that she has the power to rewind time. Obviously, this comes with consequences that she learns about later. She then witnesses her childhood best friend, Chloe, get shot and rewinds time. She links up with her childhood friend and they quickly catch up. Chloe tells Max about the popular missing girl, Rachel Amber, who was Chloe's quote-unquote best friend. Yep, no romantic feelings at all. They decide to investigate it. Throughout the story, they get into many terrible situations, but it's just really fun to watch them fuck around and rekindle their friendship back. There are choices in this game, but many of them don't matter because of, well, spoiler alert, the ending where you're forced to sacrifice Arcadia Bay and all its people to the storm that Max saw in her dreams, or sacrifice Chloe, who is Max's best friend. This game is mainly focused on Max and Chloe's friendship though, so decisions besides the last one don't matter too much. Life is Strange doesn't seem like an actual game sometimes, and more like an interactive movie, which is a big flaw and issue I have with the game. But it has such endearing characters like Warren, Kate, Joyce, and even David, who seemed like an asshole but turned out to be a good guy all along. Life is Strange is a game that focuses on character attachment and dialogue between characters rather than storytelling, but does so in a way that doesn't feel too annoying, which makes it an enjoyable game. Life is Strange Before the Storm is an even better version of the game, despite being made by a different company and changing some voice actors. Of course, you have to choose Bay over Bay. Until Dawn is a choice-based game about a group of friends who played a pretty fucked up prank on their friend Hannah. Oh, whoops, not that one. There we go. Which she doesn't take lightly, and rightfully so. She storms out of the cabin into a blizzard. Very smart idea, Hannah. Which then causes Emily, bitch, to say the iconic 2015 prank channel line.
It was just a prank, Han.
Hannah's sister, Beth, goes out to find her. I guess being smart runs in the family. They end up dying in an unfortunate accident, but a year later, the sister's brother, Josh, invites everyone to come back to the cabin, claiming that he wants them to celebrate and forget about the tragedy that happened a year ago. This is the intro for the story. What makes Until Dawn special is that the choices actually matter. Unlike some games, a decision that seems insignificant could lead to a character dying or surviving. You can save all 8 of the friends or kill them all. It's all in your hands. On top of hard decision making, you will have to do a lot of quick time events to escape danger and stay completely still to survive. This game is full of jump scares, horror, and terrifying hard choices that keep you anxious throughout the whole experience, as you have to stay alert at all times if you want everyone to survive. There's a ton of mystery and clues hidden that can help you figure out what happens in the game, but my one issue with this game is that the characters don't get fleshed out much, and they don't have much personality, so you don't really get attached to them. Well, besides Sam and Mike. Sam is best girl, by the way, no competition. But other than that, I would highly recommend this game if you actually want a game where your choices matter. The Walking Dead is not a title that is unfamiliar to many. A book, which got a series adaptation, getting a game wasn't so surprising. The game follows Lee Everett, fucking legend, who is on his way to jail for killing the man who slept with his wife. The car crashes and he escapes, finding a zombie apocalypse waiting for him. He finds a little girl called Clementine, whose parents went on a trip. Lee decides to protect Clementine and guide her throughout a fucked up world. This is a choice-based game made by Telltale, which are known for having choice-based games that aren't really choice-based. Regardless, what's amazing about The Walking Dead is the tensions that rise between the group that Lee finds himself in, mainly between Kenny and Lily. But more importantly, the relationship between Lee and Clementine, which is similar to that of a father and daughter. Lee protects Clementine no matter what, perhaps seeing it as his duty to redeem himself because of the murder that happened. Lee is often forced to make hard decisions and choose sides, even when he doesn't want to. If you hate being forced to pick sides, then you'll enjoy this game but hate it like me. Season 1 and 2 are amazing, Season 3 is meh, and Season 4 is okay. You mainly want to focus on Season 1 and 2 though, where they focus on Lee, then on Clementine and her growth. God of War is an old title based on Greek mythology, but then transitions into Norse mythology in the 4th game. The story is quite long and rich in history, so I won't cover all that happened in the old games, but more so focus on the new game. You play as Kratos, a Spartan warrior and god who has a new family and is training his son known as Atreus.
Get in the boat, boy. 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 I told you, boy. 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 No place for a boy.
Unlike the other 3 games I just listed, God of War heavily focuses on gameplay and combat, which it excels in. The game combines progression through learning combos and enhanced combat to create an experience that is super enjoyable among the amazing story. There are many high points in the series, mainly with Kratos and Atreus, as well as many characters from Norse mythology such as Freya and Odin. There are also great side characters like Mimir, Brock and Sindri that keep the game exciting, even when Kratos and Atreus aren't the main focus. A game that can combine story and gameplay always deserves to be applauded, and God of War did exactly just that. Number 1 has to be The Last of Us. The Last of Us has a simple story but executes it like no other game. The Last of Us has an amazing combat system where you can craft weapons, find ammo, and utilize resources such as bricks for distraction. That, combined with a story that anyone can get behind, makes The Last of Us a fantastic experience. The graphics are phenomenal for 2013 and even now, and the soundtrack is a masterpiece that very few games come close to. The story follows Joel, who lost his daughter Sarah during the early days of the zombie apocalypse. He finds a girl named Ellie who is immune to getting infected. Like The Walking Dead, Joel and Ellie have a relationship like father and daughter, but it's done in a much more compelling way. You see, Joel is still mourning his daughter's death, and in the beginning they don't really like each other much. He initially has a strong dislike for Ellie, and Ellie has to prove that she is capable and has to constantly deal with his bitter ass. Joel starts off hating Ellie, but as the game progresses, he begins to appreciate her more and more. He begins to see his dead daughter in him, and before he even realizes it, he starts seeing Sarah in Ellie. This is best showcased when Ellie kills David, and Joel hugs her, constantly saying baby girl, which is something that he used to call Sarah, his own daughter. At the end of the story, Joel takes Ellie to the Fireflies, who are supposed to create a cure from Ellie's body. However, that would let Ellie be the sacrifice for humanity's survival. After realizing his true feelings, Joel decides to sacrifice the world for Ellie and save her. The world took Joel's daughter from him, and he decided that it will not happen again. Joel lies to Ellie about what happened in the Fireflies, and the story ends. Now, The Last of Us Part 2 wasn't great, but I'm just gonna use cognitive dissonance and pretend like it never existed. If you haven't played The Last of Us, I absolutely recommend it, as it is, in my opinion, the best story game ever made.